Hi, this is Enrique. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here back for another video. Today I want to discuss a little bit about Bitcoin and its euphoric rise. We're very close to 100,000 per Bitcoin at the moment. For those of you who have been following this cryptocurrency for many years, you've seen it go up, run up a lot of money, and crash over and over again. So this is a pattern. Usually this happens after something called the halving. And so we know that that happened recently this past year. And so for many people that have been following that process, they had a very good indication that Bitcoin was going to run up again. So for all those of you who made money, congratulations. I strongly suggest that you do take some profits. If you do decide to put money into a cryptocurrency, my personal recommendation is for you to invest in something called a hard wallet, which there's several companies out there who produce them. One of the ones that's the most popular is called a Nano ledger. So if you want to look it up online, I will have a link below where you can purchase it from Amazon. Or if you want to go purchase it straight from their website, even better. I highly recommend that you purchase these devices straight from the manufacturer if it's possible. Since some of these devices, if you do purchase them from third parties, they may be pre-hacked. So if you do decide to put your crypto keys within a device that was already tampered with, you could lose all your crypto. So make sure that when you do buy these hard wallets, and I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but make sure that if you do buy these wallets to be able to store your cryptocurrency outside of digital exchanges, make sure that they have not been tampered with and that they're properly sealed. And if possible, try to buy them straight from the manufacturer. There are several times that Bitcoin has crashed. One of the times that it did crash, it actually crashed 99%. So back in June of 2011, at that time, there was an exchange called Mt. Gox. So that exchange held a lot of Bitcoin. Bitcoin ran up from $2 all the way to somewhere around $32 at that time. Back what happened in June of 2011, Mt. Gox, they actually got hacked. So what ended up happening with that, there was a lot of fear in the crypto community, and Bitcoin fell from $32 all the way to 1 penny. That's a stark reminder that this could happen again. That's why it's very important, if you do decide to trade your fiat currency for any digital assets such as Bitcoin or any other type of altcoins like Litecoin, you got Solana, you got Ethereum, you got XRP, and then you even have some meme coins. Make sure you put them in a hard wallet. Try to keep them out of these exchanges, because at any moment, even the biggest exchanges that we have right now, like Coinbase, could be susceptible to hack. It could be susceptible to getting hacked. You could hear that maybe these companies are very secure, but there's always hackers trying to get in because there's a lot of money to be made. 1 year later, August 2012, we had a 56% drop in cryptocurrency, in Bitcoin as well. At that time, there was a Ponzi scheme that happened. Someone had stole 700,000 Bitcoin. Another reminder that Bitcoin could drop 50% or more. We're nearing 100,000. It could go down back to 60. It could go back down to 20. No one knows. Right now, there's a lot of resistance within 98, 99,000 as the time I'm making this video. It has not hit 100. It may hit 100 by the time I publish this video. Back in April of 2013, we did have another drop of 83%. Mt. Gox again, they had an issue with their system. It crashed. Hackers took advantage of that, and Bitcoin at that time was somewhere around $260. It plummeted close to 50. That's a lot of money lost in this economy. Back in December of 2013, we did have a 50% drop. Why? Because at that point, China had officially banned Bitcoin. Everybody got spooked. There was a 50% drop. That is another reminder of why you have to be very careful when you get into this type of cryptocurrencies in the hype. Okay, and the one that I think a lot of people are very familiar with, because by this time in 2017, I personally feel like more people were involved in cryptocurrency during that time. I feel like that's around the time when a lot of people around me started noticing it more. Back before that, there was some people that were invested around me, but I feel like it didn't really take off at that moment. Back in 2017, there was a lot of hype around Bitcoin and other altcoins as well. That's when you started seeing more YouTube channels pop up, talk about that. You started getting it more into the mainstream media. So at that time, Bitcoin ran up. I think it hit somewhere around $19,000, $20,000 around that time. So once it did that, it crashed. At the beginning of 2018, it just started crashing downwards. And eventually, as we all know, Bitcoin had a big bear market. A lot of people ran for the exits. And for the most part, everybody was starting to get fearful for Bitcoin again. Bitcoin, not a lot of people were interested in the following years. There was a smaller percentage of people that were putting money into Bitcoin. You did hear people talk about it more, since this was more in the media. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of people exited. Especially, there was a lot of Ponzi schemes as well around that time. You had something called BitConnect that really siphoned a lot of people's money. There were some people that took advantage and they were able to pay off their assets using that money, but a lot of people did lose money. And then obviously during March of 2020, we had the pandemic, and we did have a large drop. Bitcoin did drop 50% as well. So that was another buying opportunity. All of these are buying opportunities. So right now, when everybody's piling in, it's definitely not a buying opportunity. If you are thinking about putting money into Bitcoin right now, it's very, very foolish to do so. If you do plan to trade it, it's pretty much money that you are almost guaranteed to lose unless you have very, very fast fingers. So if you were to put money into cryptocurrency, I personally would put it when everybody's fearful, when we have an obvious bear market, when everybody's just hating Bitcoin at the moment because they say, oh, I lost all this money on Bitcoin. I wasn't able to pull out on time. So right now is not the time to put any money in there, in my opinion. If you have money invested in Bitcoin, right now would be a good time to take some profits. And in 2021, we did have another drop of 53%. So at that time, Bitcoin did run up again. Obviously, if you have been following Bitcoin, it ran up into the $69,000 range. And eventually, it dropped again. And for the most part, there was a bear market. But then obviously, there was something called the halving. And if you want to do your research on that, highly recommend you at least know a little bit about cryptocurrency and how it works, just so you can have the knowledge behind this. There was a lot of people that did predict that 2024 was going to be a good year for Bitcoin. And sure enough, here we are, $98,000, $99,000, about to break 100. A lot of resistance. There's a lot of selling pressure. And it could go either way. It could, Bitcoin futures currently hold Bitcoin over 100,000. So you will need a lot of pump to be able to get it over 100 and to have it stay over 100. Also, another thing that a lot of people probably, this is very controversial, because there's an individual or entity called Satoshi Nakamoto. That individual, it's said that as of right now, holds about average 1.1 million Bitcoin within several wallets. Now that entity, for the most part, has been dormant, but we don't know if it's an entity or an individual or a group of individuals. No one really knows. But if that individual or entity decides to wake up, the sleeping giant, and decides to sell all that cryptocurrency in its possession, which most people say that'll never happen, but let's just say theoretically it does, that could be a real large rug pull to all the retail investors and all the whales out there invested in Bitcoin. That could cause a real gigantic crash in the crypto community. Again, that may never happen, but that is a small possibility. Anything's possible in this world. Obviously, as I've gone through this right now, what I've given you right now is pretty much just a very small summary of what could happen. Bitcoin has had its crashes over the years, way more than what I've explained today, but these are probably some of the most notable ones. So I highly recommend that you do your due diligence, and if you do decide to put money into cryptocurrencies, make sure you store them in a hard wallet. Try not to keep them in an exchange. It's very, very dangerous to keep your cryptos in an exchange if you do decide to put money into crypto. Me personally, I have money in crypto. I think it's very important to be well diversified, and it's not a large amount of my portfolio. So if that money decides to go to zero tomorrow, in no way am I affected personally. These are just stark reminders of what could happen with Bitcoin and other altcoins. You have a lot of meme coins as well. And it's very difficult to know if Bitcoin will stay at 100,000 this year or if it'll plummet before the new administration here in the United States will take place. So thank you for watching this video. Please go ahead and post any comments down below about what you think about cryptocurrencies. And I really hope that this information really sheds light and gives you a little bit of a stark reminder of what could happen if you do decide to put your money into Bitcoin. So we'll see you in another video. Take care.